They say speed kills, and if you can run 4.2, you have a shot to succeed in the NFL. Dre Archer is one of the fastest players in football history, but that's about all he's known for. In the end, he had speed, and only speed. A two-star recruit largely ignored out of high school, he committed to Kent State in early 2009. His first 2 years in college were forgettable, serving as a backup running back and kick returner, but rarely making splash plays. As a sophomore in 2010, he averaged an ugly 3.5 yards per carry and found the end zone just twice all season. His 2011 season was wiped out, ruled ineligible for academic reasons. It was news he said he was shocked by, saying he fell short of his needed hours and could not play all season. It seemed like his college career would come and go, a backup at a MAC school. But he broke out in 2012. Archer became an impact runner, returner, and receiver. His first big game came against Buffalo, rushing for 127 yards and a touchdown in a 45-43 shootout victory. 3 weeks later, he ran all over Army, 222 yards, highlighted by an 87-yard score late in the game. With the win, Kent State moved to 5-1, the program's biggest hope in decades. Archer even threw a touchdown pass that day. He was the centerpiece around a Golden Flashes squad who finished the season 11-3, the school's most wins ever in a single season. Heck, the last time they'd won even 8 games in a year was 1976. Archer did his damage with explosive plays, not volume. In 3 straight weeks, he rushed for 120 yards against Akron, 151 against Miami, Ohio, and 241 yards to beat Bowling Green. In all 3 games, he averaged at least 11 yards per carry. Archer was dynamic every time he touched the football and revived a weak program. They started the year 10-1 before losing in the MAC championship game in their bowl game against Arkansas State. Still, Archer had a year for the ages. Dealing with injuries, his 2013 stats were not nearly as gaudy, but he still was efficient, averaging nearly 8 yards per carry and 11 total touchdowns, 6 rushing, 4 receiving, and 1 kick return run back. The program fell back into their losing ways, but Archer remained a positive contributor. Still, the concern on him was that he was an undersized player from a smaller school. He entered the 2014 draft as more of a curiosity, but he put himself on the map at the Combine, blazing a 4.26 40.
I think he's going to have to be more like a slot utility guy that gets moved around like Ace Sanders. I don't think he can line up a tailback.
Yeah, he just moved around right there.
3.29 unofficially the first one.
Here we go. Dre Archer, who is the very personification of Golden Flash earlier today. Mike Mayock, his 40-yard dash. He picked him up and he put him down to the tune of officially 4.26.
Officially, it's tied for the 5th best time in Combine history. He also ran it in just 18 steps, which at the time tied Calvin Johnson for the fewest in a run, highlighting it all the more. Pittsburgh entered the 2014 draft looking for playmakers and athletes. They found it in the first round with Ohio State linebacker Ryan Shazier, and in the second round, getting Notre Dame defensive end Stephon Tuitt. With the 97th pick of the draft, the Steelers came on the clock and selected Archer, the 3rd highest spot a Kent State player had been drafted since 2000. The issue with Archer became evident almost right away. What is he, a running back or a wide receiver? In his first NFL training camp, the Steelers had him with the running backs, but during the backs on backers drill, always happening the first day in pads, Archer trotted over to work with the receivers instead. Immediately, he felt like a tweener. Still, his first NFL game showed promise. In the preseason opener against the New York Giants, Archer exploded for a 46-yard gain off of a wide receiver screen, flashing that elite speed. In the summer, Archer was looking like a chess piece and playmaker for the Steelers' offense. That quickly changed once the regular season began. Archer had trouble simply getting on the field, let alone making an impact. Inactive for 2 of the first 3 weeks, he played single-digit offensive snaps every game of the season except for week 1. Offensively, he touched the ball a total of just 17 times, his longest play from scrimmage only 15 yards. He failed to even make an impact as a returner, averaging a lousy 18 yards on 9 tries. Pittsburgh's distrust in him was almost immediate. After losing Le'Veon Bell in the regular season finale, the team instead turned to veteran Ben Tate and undrafted free agent Josh Harris for the wildcard game against the Baltimore Ravens. Archer carried the ball only once, a pitiful loss of 1 yard, and primarily spent the game catching a handful of short passes as the Steelers' season ended. He returned for a second year in 2015 and made the initial roster, but with Le'Veon Bell as the team's clear number 1 runner and D'Angelo Williams signed in the offseason, a key addition, Archer had no offensive role. In 8 games, he played just 3 offensive snaps, did not touch the ball offensively, and was relegated to just kick return duty. He was only moderately successful there, averaging just more than 25 yards per try. But Pittsburgh had no plan or use for him, and Archer's speed is all he brought to the table. Every time he stepped on the field, opposing defenses knew Pittsburgh would be trying some creative, horizontal way of getting him the football. They keyed in on him and stopped him in his tracks. Archer struggled to be a decoy too, an ineffective blocker and runner. His presence was a huge tip-off to NFL defenses. In mid-November of 2015, the Steelers admitted their mistake and cut bait with Archer officially waiving him. He remained a free agent the rest of the season until he was signed to a futures contract in February of 2016 by the New York Jets. He did not last long, waived in early May following the team's rookie minicamp. The Buffalo Bills claimed Archer the following day, only Archer did not go. He did not show up, never reporting to Buffalo, and was placed on the reserve did not report list a week later. Archer's time in the NFL saw him register just 63 yards from scrimmage. Of all running backs and wide receivers drafted in the top 3 rounds from 2010 to 2021, no one has had fewer such yards than Dre Archer. Since his NFL career wrapped up, Archer has not been in the public eye and there is not a lot known about his post-playing days. He's still playing some football, but not of the NFL variety. On his Instagram page, he's posted clips of him playing flag football and that's about it. He's never gotten back into playing professional football, not in any of the upstart leagues that have formed over the years. He just moved on from his football career. While Archer had blazing speed, there was one key thing he lacked: a fit. He was not big or strong enough to run between the tackles as an NFL running back, and he lacked the route running and nuance to function like a true wide receiver. Though he made big plays at Kent State, truthfully, he was a one-year flash. It was his pure speed that enticed teams, and the Steelers were burned for taking that chance.